Hey Noah, what am I? What am I?
A sponge.
Nope, I'm stupid. I'm just kidding. I'm Texas. The Sandy Cheeks movie. Noah, you've seen it. I've seen it. We've seen it together. Guys, this is
We did it.
Noah Swartz, Willow's Remorse.
Happy to be back on. Happy to be here.
Yes, guys. And I am Grant Guy from the Grant Guy channel that you're currently watching.
Oh,
You're literally right on it. Guys,
how did you not know?
I'm not going to ask you to subscribe until the end of the episode because I'm going to make sure that you damn well enjoy it. But with that being said, you already know the title of the video. Let's talk about Sandy Cheeks saves Bikini Bottom. Or is it like, it's the SpongeBob movie, Sandy Cheeks saves Bikini Bottom.
SpongeBob was there, but it was Sandy Cheeks.
This is a Sandy Cheeks. This is not a SpongeBob movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happened in place, not the same person. It's
Yeah.
like the Puss in Boots of Shrek.
Right, yeah. This is, oh, dude. Comparing, you've seen The Last Wish, right? The recent Puss in Boots movie?
I have not.
Wait, dude, you haven't? Dude, it's actually like God tier, dude. I love that movie.
Okay, well, not a good comparison.
Yeah, not a good. Well, dude, just jumping into it,
Right on.
with no spoilers. What did you think of the movie? If you had to tell someone in 60 seconds, did you like it? Did you not like it? What would you give it out of 5?
Oof. I'm gonna say a hard 1.5.
I did not expect that, honestly. Okay.
I had high expectations coming into a good SpongeBob movie.
Yes.
So the first one, bomber, 5 out of 5.
Dude,
hard
so
comparison, but what
good.
first is it, right?
Yeah.
But even Sponge Out of the Water, had some randomness to it,
Had
like
some
that.
good
but,
points.
But
Yeah.
but it was overall pretty enjoyable. It was a little bit longer. It was good, I think it was close to like a good hour, 40 minutes movie.
Yeah.
Good standard movie.
Again, that one was in theaters.
In theaters as well. So I guess if you take out the theater movies,
Yes.
probably closer, I guess, to 2.5.
2.5.
I wouldn't
Okay.
say quite say 3. I would feel robbed if it was like a
Are
hotel.
you
booking.
talking about the superhero one right now?
No, I'm talking about the Sandy.
Oh,
movie.
about the Sandy
I would
movie.
increase
Okay.
it if you take out the fact that it was in theaters because you just have a higher expectation going into those movies.
That I think that makes sense.
Because if I pay money in a theater versus watching a streaming service, my expectations are a little bit higher.
That's a good point. That's a good point. There definitely is a different vibe of like going into a theater, sitting down, watching trailers, getting ready, versus
it's a pumped-
chilling on the couch.
Yeah,
and,
it's
flipping
on
it
TV. Let's watch it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I would say the same for me. I'd probably give it like a 2, maybe a 2.5. Without any spoilers, I would just say that there are glimpses of fun ideas in this one, but
Poorly executed.
yeah, and as you stated as we were watching the film, it feels like someone was incredibly high while they wrote the script. Like there's a lot of hashtag random, hashtag funny sort of stuff in this. Like we're watching the movie in the background right now, a guy just spits some soda up his nose and then it goes out of his mouth or out of his eyes. Yeah.
Parts that don't have liquids, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I feel there's a bunch of random stuff, and my biggest issue the reason I dunked it immediately 2 stars.
Yeah.
I'm a big storyline guy. The story has to be very smooth going, pretty understandable.
Yeah.
There was so much jumping in the show.
Yes.
And a lot of things that the randomness wasn't. I mean, that is some random funny. There was some good random funny things in there. Don't get me wrong. It's SpongeBob.
Right.
But there's so many random things they did just to move the plot.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like the tornado thing. Like
not a spoiler, but there's a tornado that they just leave.
Yeah. Well, I guess jumping into the story. Basically, it starts off Sandy singing a song about science, and then all of it. Yeah, big science girl. We love
marine
her.
biologist. If you didn't know, specifically.
Yeah, guys, she looks good in this movie. Bikini Bottom gets all scooped up, and then Sandy's like, it was taken to the Boots laboratory. Now, I will say,
bigger boot?
Dude, I would have loved it if that was the reference.
But it wasn't.
But it was not. And so basically, there's actually one. So
one
this
reference
is
I was looking for.
You're right. This is one part of the movie that I actually kind of enjoyed until they got more into it. Because Sandy's always been a scientist, but I like the idea of adding in, there's actually a reason she's down here. She's researching. She's studying Bikini Bottom. So I was kind of hoping that it was going to be this turn of, and they kind of teased at it for like a millisecond, where it's like, oh, well, this was what all of your research led up to. But no, it was just sort of like, oh, yeah, I worked for this company that dug up Bikini Bottom, but I didn't know they were going to do that. There's this whole new CEO thing. And I don't know. It kind of just like popped the one balloon I had of anything.
The hope. It wasn't even like a good villain, It was this random person that had a weird thing. You'll see it if you ever watch the movie.
Yeah.
But they need to have something. Even at the end of the movie, if they could have related her research back to something cool.
Right.
Like, oh, it was for good because of this. Instead of now when you watch SpongeBob, we're going to be like, she's there because she's going to kill them all.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I liked what they were about to do with Sandy being a scientist and connecting it and all that. But then, they kind of just turn it into this thing where it actually doesn't really matter. And I get it, because it's a TV show that's going to go on for like, an absolute eternity. You can't really have characters change that much. But even just having Sandy be like, oh, my science led to this, Bikini Bottom getting all wrapped up and stuff. Oh crap, I don't want to be a scientist anymore. And I mean, I guess you kind of get that toward the end when she's running on the cage, but yeah, it's just very lazily done. So
they didn't even have to change the show. They could have just had it be like a strong backstory.
Yeah, just add a backstory to it.
They didn't even give like a reason why she was doing it. I mean, pause for a minute, might be somewhat of a spoiler, but like, the company that she worked for, they used it for evil, but they could have at least said why maybe they started out doing something good and it just happened to be evil.
Right.
But they didn't explain anything about why she started doing it, or like her mission, anything about her, why she was there. It would have been so much cooler.
Yeah, like you give her that, like, oh, this was actually her mission all along, was to research Bikini Bottom.
For X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but we don't understand how she got into this company or why. We learned that Sandy we're just diving all spoilers in now, so if you don't want spoilers, head to this part of the video. But like we meet her circus family, which, I mean, they kind of play a role a little bit.
It's cool to meet them.
Yeah, like they were, fun characters, but
I didn't know Sandy was good at something.
Yeah, Sandy's a bit of a circus animal. And again, that's another thing I would have liked to delve into a little bit more. Like let's see Sandy when she was a kid, and she didn't like doing the circus. But no, it's kind of just like brushed on, like, yeah, she was in the circus.
And she misses it.
The lab.
Yeah.
Who cares? Then there's this one part which led nowhere, where the parents were like, oh, we support you as long as you're in Texas. And then Sandy was like, yikes. And then that doesn't go anywhere. It's like, why even mention that? Like, was it just to be funny? Like, as like but that's not true. Yeah, it's just very odd, but.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions that I'm very unsatisfactory about.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But after that, so Sandy and SpongeBob lift out of the water to go save Bikini Bottom, as they would.
Yeah. Surfing in a geyser, by the way.
Yep, surfing in a geyser.
Pretty unique. They did it. There was a whole surfing episode in SpongeBob on the shells, I think, too. So I think that was
the big one, the one with Johnny Depp in it.
Yeah. Surfing. I mean, like, specifically the shell.
I see what you're saying.
Actual movie.
You're saying. Yeah.
There's some episode. I don't have the vague memory of it.
Yeah.
Someone comment below what episode that was, and I'll appreciate you.
Yes. But yeah, so then after that, we end up on a plane. So it's Sandy and SpongeBob that are the main ones on the adventure. They end up on a plane. Turns out Sandy's a flying squirrel. What'd you think about that?
Oh my gosh. So, it doesn't give that. I don't think flying squirrels, you've seen plenty of episodes with her arms, but never have seen the skin that hangs down. All of a sudden, it's just there.
Like flying squirrels, like it's not like an in and out thing. It's like the skin's always there.
It's not Wolverine's claws, guys. Go in and out. No, it's always there, and she just whoop.
Yeah, it's just a sudden reveal. She's like, "Oh, I'm a flying squirrel, by the way."
Yeah, and they use it the whole movie to get everywhere.
Yeah, jumping off the plane, flying squirrel move. Jumping off the tornado, flying squirrel move. Jumping off the water park, flying squirrel move.
Escape, distance. It was like used as such like a crutch for so much.
Yeah.
I mean, half the stuff they did was not needed, but
yeah, like not at all.
But they did it anyway, and it was still used a crutch for that.
Yeah, like it's literally just a story crutch, which makes no sense. Because, like, you're telling me that no one in the writer's room thought, oh, we could just make SpongeBob a parachute.
Something a lot funnier, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. It's just kind of, it's just ridiculous that they throw this out there. And I get it, you can add things to characters, I guess. Maybe it was in the show and I forgot about it,
Even SpongeBob was surprised that she was a flying squirrel. He
said,
true, you're a flying squirrel?
So it's definitely not been a thing.
No, it's definitely not. SpongeBob was like, whoa, like I've seen you hibernate and I never noticed.
Yeah. Speaking of things, I completely forgot about this. Speaking of things that were basically introduced in this movie but just don't exist, is Sandy now has a robotic horse.
Yep. Named Sparky.
Gets ripped in half. Yeah, it gets ripped in half and
right away.
Not in the movie. I actually forgot for 90% of the movie that the horse was a thing. They made this horse for the movie, and then they were like
intro, and it was gone.
Yeah, because then SpongeBob and Sandy go on the adventure, and the horse just stays behind.
Yeah,
stays behind.
Comes in right at the end to solve a problem that probably didn't need fixing.
Yeah,
and then was back at the end for the song.
Yep.
I think they just added it for that good old Texan vibe.
Yeah,
but like, was it needed?
Seriously, like I don't know. It's just so odd.
Was it not needed?
Yeah, but then after the first flying squirrel moment, they crash because a Texas Twister.
They come and get you out of nowhere.
Course. Yes.
And, carry you 600 miles away in less than 10 seconds, obviously.
Yeah. And Noah, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen the movie Rango?
I have, yes. The lizard.
Yep, in the desert, in the sheriff and all that.
Like the water,
A fantastic movie. I believe it was released in the late 2000s.
All the greatest movies were.
Yeah, so good. And I just remember, like, I watched this movie with my girlfriend maybe a year ago. And I loved the way that it looked. I think to this day it still stands the test of time.
Yeah. How much more effort they put in back then was phenomenal.
Yeah. Now here's the crazy thing. That was a Nickelodeon movie. Now,
where have the good times gone?
Yeah. So comparing it to our next scene, Sandy and SpongeBob have a run-in with some rattlesnakes.
Oh yeah.
And we have a rattlesnake battle. And this was the first time that I noticed, because I will say, at the beginning of the movie, especially with the claw coming down, I liked the animation in that part. I thought it was pretty cool, or at least the lighting in it. All Bikini Bottom goes red because the light on the claw.
Very good dramatic.
Yeah, a lot of tension there. But as soon as we get to this fight with rattlesnakes, the whole time, I don't know if like the budget just stopped, but dude, I don't know if you felt the same, but the animation just got kind of bad when they were fighting the rattlesnake.
It was like a South Park Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have, the Canadians, they didn't have the extra budget to film the rest of their head, and it was choppy.
Yeah, they
jumped up, kicked, but like it wasn't even like animated.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, because and now this is has been the thing with SpongeBob for every single movie. Whenever, if it's 2D or 3D, whenever they go to land, it's always live action.
Yeah,
so I expect that. Yeah, and that's fine. But I just felt like if you guys go and watch the fight scene, there's a lot of times where I was watching the feet. So the snakes are like, slithering around, and there's like a little bit of dust, but the ground itself, it nothing's being moved. Like there's like, it basically just feels like it's augmented reality. Like it's a Snapchat filter. Like Pokemon Go, where it's like, yeah, I can raise my phone up and it looks like Pikachu standing on my table right there. But I can clearly tell it's not. And like we're watching the movie again right now in the background, and you can just kind of tell it hasn't gotten to the snake part yet. But as they're wriggling around, they either don't show the ground, or when they do, there's practically nothing going on it. So it just shows that level of effort where it's like, why is there
could have just been nothing. A picture.
Yeah.
Animation on the top of the picture, and probably would have came out better.
Yeah, seriously. And we'll get to some pretty bad animation later on as well. But another thing I noticed at the beginning was that some 3D models were built better than others. Like I think SpongeBob looks fantastic. SpongeBob looks great.
The main characters, of course, it's the side characters that you're like.
Yeah.
It looked like the same one, just with different shirt colors, you know?
Right, yeah, exactly. Just very standard,
if they were just
ugly.
Far in the back, it'd be different, but like there was like main shots of them up close.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you look so much awkward?
Yeah, they just look very odd. Like if you were to show me some of these models out of context, I would not think that it's a SpongeBob movie.
And Larry the Lobster is so much bigger and different looking than he is in this movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, seriously. And Mr. Krabs looks like he was from, I don't know if you ever played any like the Wii games, but they gave him this like incredibly silky smooth model. And it's like that exact model. I'll put it up on the screen. Yeah, but it just looks so odd. But anyway, going to the next scene, we have the Cheeks, the circus family of Sandy Cheeks. You know, they come in and dude, they're doing some circus like activities.
It's great.
You know?
It's like Bug's Life.
Yes, exactly. Actually, wait, yeah, it is very much like Bug's Life. Yeah, because
a little less people, I think, but
yeah, 100%. Yeah, the Sandy's long lost family shows up, and they kick the rattlesnake's butt. There's actually a pretty violent moment when they're rolling a rock to crush the snakes.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna squish them, and instead their bodies just came off.
Dude, their skin. Yeah, their skin was just like ripped off. Yeah, I was waiting for like.
There was a total of 3, debatably 4 deaths though.
Yes, yeah, there are definitely 100% deaths in this movie, dude.
As Bikini no way Bottom they did not survive.
Yeah, Bikini Bottom's getting like brought up, and there's like 3 dudes that like fall into the abyss. And you know
they did not make it.
They did not make it. Like there's no like, oh, the rest we're okay. Of the show. Yeah, they're dead. They're dead, dude. Nope. Yeah. And yeah,
and then a head gets ripped off later in the movie.
Yes. Correct.
Not going to explain that one a lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah. We'll get there. But what do you think about Sandy Cheeks' family?
I'm not surprised. Usually, you know, I feel like they did the whole Sheldon, young Sheldon thing with a smart scientist kid, and then like everyone else is like I mean, they're Texans, right? Same as that show. You know, they're all like hippie and fun. None of them are educational. They're good people. Very classic. You know, stereotypical Texans.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they're fun, but you don't know a whole lot about them. I mean, there's 2 little ones that we see for like maybe
couple
2 minutes.
Yeah.
And a grandma that is kind of like the grandma from Croods.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of another sort of theme with this movie is arguably I get why they're here because it's the Sandy Cheeks movie. We gotta have Sandy Cheeks friends. But they don't really do anything aside from like
getting them back.
Yeah.
They're a taxi cab.
They fight the rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
And they inevitably get Bikini Bottom like back to the ocean. Spoiler for later on, but
they do help you.
Yeah, but that's kind of
the power of family.
The power of family. Like,
you know,
I only wish my family could do that.
Exactly.
But we meet him. The grandma doesn't really do anything. None of them really do anything.
She's the clutch. What are you talking about? So they all drive a car together, which this is how they get back. And the grandma, everyone in the family has a different position in the car.
Yeah, they don't really have any characterization aside from them just being their standard roles of the family. Yeah, like you got the cool uncle, you got the dad,
the strong dad,
You got the mom, the
Mrs.
The
Incredible.
Mommy. Yeah. We got
the 2 little kids.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. That's kind of it. And they don't really do anything. So, Yeah, they save him from the rattlesnakes. The police chase him because Randy, the uncle,
has a lot of police.
There is a lot of police coming after this car.
40 cars and 10 Blackhawks. It was America's most wanted squirrel, I tell you.
100%, dude. And they end up. This is probably okay. Don't get me wrong. I know we're watching a SpongeBob movie,
and we get it.
I'm gonna suspend my disbelief. Because it's SpongeBob. I know physics don't matter. I get it.
It does.
But when a car on land jumps onto a tornado, and then the cop car jumps onto a second tornado.
That wasn't there.
That wasn't there before. And then the first car gets roped up.
They
lasso the tornado. And they use the tornado. Oh, and there's 3 cowboys in the tornado. They do a Wizard of Oz things where they use this joke twice. There's 3 cowboys going, beans. Then they go, you stinky.
And obviously there's fart jokes.
Yeah, fart jokes.
All by SpongeBob.
There are about 3 different fart jokes. There's two of them are beans, and one of them Patrick walks out of the bathroom.
No, 4. They did in the sewer. They made a fart joke.
Oh, yes.
At least the subtitles had the fart sound, so I don't know exactly what it was.
Yeah, we got 4 fart jokes.
4.
And then that's how they get back to the lab. So the tornado took them away from the lab. They fought rattlesnakes. Family took them back to the lab via the tornado. Now they're in the lab.
car combo. And then,
slash car combo. Yeah, and then they have this dog chase them, and
you're right.
I don't know, just a lot of stuff happens. But what were you saying?
I was saying we'll have the rattlesnake scene again, and yeah, you're right. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Like I'll put. I mean, you can see some of it right here behind us, maybe. But yeah, like they don't show the ground, and if they do, there's no interaction with the ground. Like rocks aren't moving.
The one snake just went through a whole grass pile, and the grass did not move.
Yeah, it's like
that does look like Pokemon Go. Yeah, go take a Pokemon Go picture, and that's what SpongeBob.
100%. Like I feel like I could put my phone up and I could watch this while moving my phone, and it would just do it to whatever environment it's on. It's just really weird. It just doesn't look good.
No.
I feel like they should have cooked on this scene for a lot longer. And whenever things in the environment are affected, like there's one point where Sandy smacks one of the snakes into a rock and there's a crack. But you can tell the crack is drawn on. It's just really weird to look at.
Higher hopes for SpongeBob movies.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, you guys made Rango. You made snakes look god tier. I have not seen better looking snakes in a movie since, so it's just very odd. Yeah. But
anyway, they got to the lab.
And yeah, I hate to say it. I would love to go over in depth, a lot of the scenes that happen, but it's just kind of hard because a lot of stuff just
empty.
Yeah, it's just empty. Shit just happens. It's just one thing after the other, and I mean, it's just story, but nothing in depth happens. They're chased by police, they get shot out of a rocket, and they're back at the lab. A dog chases them, they're in the sewer, they pop out.
You could really sum it up to they stole Bikini Bottom and they got it back.
Yeah, that's kind of it. And I feel like even with the first 3 SpongeBob movies, I feel like I don't have that where I can just explain it in 5 words. This one I can explain in 2 words or 3 words.
Well,
get Bikini Bottom. Yeah.
Well, it's even how they get it back. There wasn't movies a buildup of how they were gonna do it, and it was complicated. It was just random spur of the moment things. This is how we're doing it. And you're okay. I mean, they pulled wires out of Patrick's pants, and that's how they did something. Yeah. It was just there. Yeah. It was we have a problem. Here's a solution. Done.
Exactly.
Problem solution.
Yeah. Okay, so Bikini Bottom is stolen. It's in this lab. It's in this big orb. How much do you reckon the orb weighs?
How much water it was? I mean, it was bigger than a person. I mean, it was they had humans in the lab, right? And it was taller than them.
Yeah.
So
pretty
half, a few out, a bear, 2 bears.
Bear weight, 2 bears. Yeah.
Bears to bears.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just one of these things where again, we're skipping a little bit, but Sandy Cheek's family Sandy calls him again, or SpongeBob calls him this time.
Oh yeah. Oh, the whole dramatic scene of SpongeBob learned how to do the whistle, which is just this, by the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He learned how to do it, I guess, for like 3 seconds,
it.
and it was such a dramatic thing. Like it was a big achievement.
Yeah, even though it was just referenced randomly, like SpongeBob was like, "Hey, can you teach me how to whistle?"
Maybe
and then
like,
Randy, the uncle, was like, "Yeah, I'm sure."
Do you think it was to symbolize that SpongeBob was also Sandy's family because she had 2 families?
You know what, dude? You read into that more than I did, and I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna give him that little bone of they had a little bit of extra.
Yes.
In depth to it.
Yep.
That would explain why at the end.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. I like that. We're gonna stick
give him
with that one. And then so they call the family, and then they kind of just do like a little electricity jig, and then they shoot out into space. They go around the moon.
Science.
Yep.
Sandy does a lot
because of science that they're able to do.
Sandy does a lot of science. E equals MC hot dog. And then they use the power of double the families.
Yes,
mind you.
Yes.
Double
her Bikini
Fast
Bottom
and Furious
family. Yeah.
Both families.
Vin Diesel's family and The Rock's family
all together.
Yep, 100%.
And they went and they shot to space, mind you. I don't know why they had to go to space.
Yeah, and they have a hashtag funny moment where the spaceman on the moon. Record that
on his phone. Yeah. We faked the moon landing anyway, right? So
I mean, of course. And then they land back into Bikini Bottom. I guess Sparky the horse gets his ass back.
He does. It's great. He's in the end, and
they have a little circus thing. Krusty Krab gets turned into a circus.
Yeah, that's way bigger than Krusty Krab's ever been.
Yep.
And they sing about how family is amazing, but 2 are better than 1.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole movie. Now, we did skip a very important part of the plot, so we're going to go back and just touch up on it a little bit. I'm sure you guys are wondering if you've seen the movie.
We missed it.
Yeah, the villain's plot.
Oh!
What was the villain's goal, Noah?
She wanted to... Well, at first, it was she wanted to hug or cuddle fish. She wanted to cuddle fish.
Yep.
Hashtag cuddle fish out there.
Yeah.
But in reality, she just wanted to be a fish.
Yep, she just wanted to be a fish. So the whole plan was...
You feeling a little fishy today?
Yeah, feeling a little fishy. Be a fish.
Be a fish.
So she kidnaps Bikini Bottom. Yeah. I'll be the tagline for this episode. So she kidnaps...
All of these can be combined.
Look, I know I'm digging deep here. I know I shouldn't be thinking about this as much as I am. This massive-ass claw comes
somehow
to the middle of
down.
The ocean, picks up Bikini Bottom, puts it in a dome, and then Sandy and I actually thought about this before. So Sandy and SpongeBob travel to Texas via a plane. Immediately after Bikini Bottom is lifted up. Bikini Bottom is lifted up, and then they're like, okay, plane, we're there. How the hell did the orb get there first? Unless the plane had the claw.
They had 2 planes.
There were 2 planes. Okay.
Come on.
Yep,
dude.
And the reason that it was stolen.
You ever see the Incredibles plane? The villain has a big ball in the middle.
Dude.
They borrowed it.
It was the Incredibles plane.
So we had the ball in the middle.
Dude,
and
I didn't even think
about
that. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But then the reason she was stealing them is she wanted to cuddle fish. And then she was like, oh, everyone should cuddle fish. So I will take these people I've received a research about, because Sandy was doing research on them.
Yes.
I will then allow them to breathe air.
By feeding them
cookies.
Phase 1 cookies. That's all we got.
Yeah, they were called Phase 1 cookies. In fact, official licks in their go, oh, these were Phase 1.
So he must have knew already.
I guess he was a little inside job.
Tell you what, selling out the sponge people.
Yeah, what the hell, Fred?
Be better.
Yeah, and then the plan is you take the SpongeBob characters, you put them in a machine, it multiplies them into 1 million of them,
and she sells them for capital profit.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
She wanted everyone to cuddle fish. Oh,
Yeah.
We say she.
Okay, we could say, guys, there's a big reveal. She's a robot, dude.
She rips off her jacket and she's a robot.
Yes, and we have.
I mean, you can clearly see that she's not a robot because she has skin and hands.
Yep.
But she's a robot, guys.
Yeah, no, she does physically have hands and everything, and she rips off the suit, and
it's all robot.
We
and she
have
grows
this,
like 8 feet.
Right, and we have this ungodly amalgamation of CGI that made my eyes bleed.
It reminded me of Shark Boy and Lava Girl with the George Lopez's head.
Yeah, the big
the ball. It was that
Mr. Electro or something.
Yeah, it was basically that.
It was like 100 to the. If you showed me that scene, you were like, this movie came out in 2002. I'd be like, I believe you. Like, that is animation from 2002. Look, I understand. I understand
budget,
that the budget's lower. You know, it's not a theater movie. It's got a lower budget than Ixnay on the robot lady.
Save the money.
What? Yeah.
She was already fine as she was.
Yeah, she was perfectly fine without being a freaking robot.
She got clumsier as the robot. She made bad mistakes.
Instead of fingers, she got these big old claws and stuff.
This is more fun.
And she's horribly green screen on top of it. It's just her neck, but her neck moves in and out of it.
It tilts when her body does it. It's just
it's so bad.
Good enough.
Send it.
This is the best animation of the whole show, right there.
Yeah.
They're having a commercial of the product they're gonna sell.
Yeah,
best animation. Of the
Literally, the best animation in the movie is the 2D animation.
You should have just kept it.
I remember watching Sponge Out of Water, and do you know Sponge Out of Water, the first half was 2D animation, and the second half was 3D. I remember leaving the theater being pissed, because I was like, man, I was hoping that we were going to get more 3D for that whole thing, because they looked really good. And now that I see this one, boy, I was a wrong son of a bitch, because the 3D makes my eyes bleed. It hurts.
We need those anime guys on this.
Yeah, dude, 100%.
They
Those
know
are
how
so
to do
good.
2D. They should never do.
Yes.
3D is just not meant.
And the people in live action, I mean, they did what they could with it. I'm not going to say they're bad actors. The Kevin guy, he was kind of funny.
I think he was from Good Burger.
Yes, I think that is correct.
He's giving me a Good Burger vibe.
Yeah, 100%. But all the other live action bits and pieces of it just seems so unnecessary. Yeah, what was he
Fallout
in?
4? He's a drug guy?
Oh!
In that one scene?
Dude, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so from Fallout 4. Yeah.
The Prime show. Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, the guy gets around. I don't blame him.
He's that good side character.
Yeah, exactly.
that was gonna bother me for the rest of my life. I didn't get that.
Yep. No, glad we got that out of the way.
I just watched it recently. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway,
such a good show, guys.
Fallout
please watch
4,
Fallout.
Please watch it.
Don't watch this instead.
5 out of 5. That one.
Yeah. But again, that's the thing with the CGI. Just to wrap it up on that point, there are moments like when SpongeBob's going crazy. SpongeBob looks fantastic in this movie. I don't have a single problem with any of that animation.
90% of the budget was on SpongeBob alone.
Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if they spent most of it on SpongeBob, and then the rest of the movie they were like, well, we got some scraps
even right
left
here,
over.
he has all these highlights, and he's so unique, and he has a shadow.
Yeah,
the squirrel next to him. I mean, he's better than a lot of the things, but man,
still much less detailed.
Yeah, it's just not there.
100%,
not there.
And we see that just so much with the live action stuff. There's a part in the end with the end circus. Sandy uses, I guess, a shrink ray, and Kevin and the girl assistants in the lab, they're humans. They're
just green screen their heads on the ball.
They're just literally green screened onto Sandy suit bodies. And they're all cut off. I could do that. It's for free.
they could have just had real suits and just copied and pasted them in there, and it probably would have looked better.
Yeah, why not literally have them? Do you remember the SpongeBob episode where there's a gorilla suit underwater?
That was so much better.
Yeah, and it was so funny, and it just looks better. They could have easily just hey, can we just, instead of spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on CGI suits, can we just spend $150.
They got robbed if they spent more than $5.
Yeah, seriously. It's just so disappointing. It's like, man, I don't want my eyes to bleed, but they are.
Not tears, folks.
Yeah. Well, aside from the animation, aside from the story itself,
it's SpongeBob, folks.
It's SpongeBob. It's modern day SpongeBob. Obviously, there is that perspective where it's like, yeah, we're not kids anymore. But I still think a lot of the older SpongeBob still stands up to this day.
We had more quality shows when we were kids.
Yes. And like the first SpongeBob movie, guys, if you haven't seen that, please watch it.
If you haven't, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, come on, my boy. Stupid, dude.
Why are you watching a review on the new one when you haven't watched the Golden
Yeah,
Child?
you got 3 to catch up on. They get progressively worse as they go.
You're starting off in the low end.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah. So overall, not great. Anything else that we should talk about before we wrap it up?
I would like a follow-up episode to explain Sandy's background.
Yes.
That's the one thing I'd love is just a little more detail.
Yeah.
On who she is.
Yeah, I guess if I were to personally change anything, if I was in the writer's room, expand more on the scientist stuff, expand more on the circus stuff.
Get rid of half of the random stuff.
Yeah. It is the Sandy Cheeks movie, not the 3 people in a lab steal Bikini Bottom movie. So why is it here? We don't need any of this. This could have been a duo Sandy SpongeBob movie where they just go on a little road trip. They meet the family. The family has a little bit more depth, but we don't get any of that. We just get a very basic point A to point B to point A plot, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, point A almost to point B.
Yeah.
Tornado backwards, tornado forwards, B.
8.2.
Two directions of a tornado.
Yeah, a lot of wasted time. So yeah. I will say the Sandy's parents, they do have a. I was wondering why it was rated M for mature. The parents do have very intense intercourse. I didn't think that the penetration was necessary. But I'm glad that they got into it, just to show their relationship. It was the only
enjoyable part of the movie.
Right, it really was. I
didn't know where squirrels came from, so...
Yeah, and I'm glad that they showed that.
Only scientific thing in there, I tell you.
Yeah, the only scientific thing. She was like, where did I come from, Mom and Dad? Who am I? How was I born? Well, let me show. How about I show you?
We call this a Teskin biscuit.
I gave your mother the old Teskin biscuit.
Gotta pour that gravy on.
It was 5 uninterrupted minutes. And yeah, I think that put it up like 0.5 for me, honestly. But yeah, so Noah.
Other than that, flat 2.
Flat 2. So out of 5, you give it a 2.
Yeah, now that we've been talking, Cole, probably I raised it generously because it wasn't put in theaters. By the way, where was Plankton? I mean, we're seeing Plankton for a second.
Plankton is literally not in the movie aside from like 2 seconds, and I love every second that he's in it. Like, there's a funny clone joke where we see all like these messed up versions of Plankton, and there's one part where he screams, and I
would have minded if like he teamed up with the villain and made a bigger villain. Anyway,
right. Like, there's just so much where it's like you could have done something here, but guys, the movie is just a load of a load. There's nothing here. There's no progression. There's no actual story. It's just a bunch of characters standing around waiting for something to happen. So I'm going to agree with I'm going to give it a 2. I'd give it a 1 or a 1.5, but honestly, there were a few moments where I had a little bit of laugh, and I did like some of the slapstick humor. But that's it. That's really all I got for it.
I finished it. If I finish it, it was a 2.
Yes.
Movies, I usually quit halfway through.
Yep.
I'm too old for this.
Dude, 100%.
I ain't got the time.
Yep. Guys, if you want an animated movie to go watch Inside Out 2. For God's sake, go watch Despicable Me 4.
Better.
Watch anything better than this. Or watch the first SpongeBob movie. Highly recommend.
If you're like, if you love the first one, the second one, the third one, you just have some time to waste. You're doing some homework. You're cooking a dinner.
Yep.
Throw in the background for the baby. Whatever, but...
There you go. Easy. So, guys, SpongeBob Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. gets a 2 out of 5. But guys, yo, thank you so much for watching. Get the hell out of here.